On this day in history, we remember the remarkable individuals who shaped our world. Welcome to Who Died Today in History, where we honor their legacies. From artists to leaders, their impact lives on. If you find their stories meaningful, like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay connected.
Thank you to all our amazing channel members for your generous support.
Pablo Escobar died in 1993 at the age of 44, meeting a violent end that reflected both the volatility and the contradictions of the era he helped define. Shot during a rooftop pursuit by Colombian security forces, his death symbolized the peak of a long and bloody struggle between the state and the drug empire he had built. It was not merely the conclusion of a manhunt. It was the collapse of a parallel power structure that had challenged government authority, reshaped global narcotics trafficking, and terrorized civilians caught in the crossfire. His death was inseparable from the conditions of the late 20th century, when organized crime groups had unprecedented transnational reach and billions in illicit revenue. Escobar exploited weak institutions, economic inequality, and public disillusionment, presenting himself as both a ruthless criminal and a populist benefactor. The violent nature of his death, cornered, armed, and unwilling to surrender, mirrored his philosophy throughout life. Power was to be seized and defended through force. The rooftop where he fell became an emblem of an era when drug lords operated like warlords and governments responded with militarized tactics. The immediate consequences of Escobar's death were dramatic. Medellín erupted in both grief and relief, illustrating the complex relationship many Colombians had with him. While some mourned a figure who had invested in poor neighborhoods, many more saw his death as a pivotal turning point in Colombia's battle to reclaim its institutions from cartel dominance. Internationally, his demise shifted the balance of drug trafficking power toward rival organizations, particularly the Cali cartel, and forced global policymakers to reevaluate their strategies in combating narcotics networks. His death undeniably amplified his legend. Escobar transformed almost instantly from a feared criminal into a larger-than-life figure whose story would inspire documentaries, books, television series, and films. The myth-making around him reflects humanity's enduring fascination with figures who straddle the line between power and destruction. Escobar became a symbol of ambition without restraint, of corruption's corrosive reach, and of the ways societies attempt to rationalize violence when it emerges from poverty, politics, and criminal enterprise. The way he is remembered through dramatizations, biographies, murals, and even illicit tourism reveals our impulse to memorialize complex figures not for moral clarity, but for narrative impact. His life and death remind us that memory gravitates toward extremes, and that history often immortalizes those who embody the tensions of their time, even when their legacy is built on fear rather than virtue. Desi Arnaz died in 1986 at the age of 69, passing from complications of lung cancer, a natural yet preventable consequence of an era when cigarette use was not only widespread but culturally normalized. His death reflected the lifestyle of mid-20th century Hollywood, an industry built on glamour, relentless work schedules, and habits that often took their toll quietly over decades. Arnaz, who had long struggled with heavy smoking, faced an illness that symbolized not just personal vulnerability, but the health costs paid by many entertainers of his generation. The immediate impact of his passing was felt most powerfully in the television community. Arnaz was not only a performer, but one of the architects of modern American television production. His innovations, such as the 3-camera filming system and the concept of syndication, were foundational to the industry. When he died, tributes poured in from executives, actors, and directors who recognized that the structure of sitcoms and indeed the entire TV landscape had been shaped by his vision. For millions of viewers, his death also awakened renewed appreciation for I Love Lucy, a show that continued to air globally and remained one of the most influential sitcoms ever created. His passing also amplified his legend. While Lucille Ball often received the most public attention, Arnaz's contributions as a producer and businessman became more widely acknowledged after his death. Scholars and media historians revisited his role in pioneering new forms of storytelling and production efficiency, elevating him from a beloved comedic actor to a transformative figure in entertainment history. In this way, his death helped correct the narrative, shining more light on the depth of his creative intellect. Arnaz's legacy continues through the art and industry he helped shape. Television retrospectives, biographies, and museum exhibitions have cemented his place as a visionary. Re-airings of his work allow new generations to understand the comedic timing, musical talent, and cultural fusion he brought to American screens. His life, marked by both triumph and turbulence, reflects a broader human story: ambition, innovation, and the desire to leave something lasting behind. Ultimately, Desi Arnaz's death reveals how deeply we rely on storytelling to remember those who shaped cultural history. Through preserved footage, restored studio archives, and ongoing scholarship, he remains immortal, not simply as Ricardo, but as a pioneer whose influence still echoes through every sitcom film today. Darlene Hard passed in 2021 at the age of 85. Her death the result of complications from a fall, an accidental end that echoed the quiet resilience of an athlete who had once dominated a far more demanding arena. Known for her power, precision, and unwavering competitive fire, Hard was one of the brightest stars of mid-20th century tennis, a period when the sport began transitioning toward global visibility and increasing professionalism. Her death, shaped by an everyday accident rather than the high drama of the courts, underscored the vulnerability shared even by the strongest among us. Her passing immediately stirred reflection within the tennis community as former players, journalists, and historians revisited her remarkable achievements. Hard had won multiple Grand Slam titles in both singles and doubles, representing an era when athletes did not enjoy lucrative sponsorships or extensive support systems. Instead, they relied on grit, discipline, and personal sacrifice. The circumstances of her death, a simple fall, highlighted how far the world had come in understanding athlete care and how time inevitably claims even the fiercest competitors. In the days following her passing, there was a renewed appreciation for her contributions to women's sports. Hard had competed during a transitional age in tennis before the Open era, and long before the fight for equal prize money reached the global stage. Her victories laid the groundwork for later icons, while her career captured the determination of women pushing against systemic limits. Her death amplified this legacy, prompting a broader conversation about forgotten pioneers and the importance of preserving the stories of trailblazers whose influence shaped future generations. Her departure illuminates a universal truth about humanity's relationship with mortality and memory. We honor greatness not only through trophies, but through the stories we choose to keep alive. In Hard's case, that remembrance takes form in documentaries, archival footage, sports writing, and commemorations by tennis organizations that continue to draw inspiration from her fearless style. Through these acts of preservation, her impact ripples into the present, reminding us that legends endure not because they escape death, but because their lives continue to resonate long after they are gone. Pamela Tiffin passed in 2020 at the age of 78, her death attributed to natural causes. It marked the quiet end of a life once defined by the vibrant glamour of 1960s Hollywood and the transatlantic charm she carried into European cinema. Her passing reflected a broader truth about her era. A generation of screen legends whose fame was built on the studio system, international co-productions, and the shifting aesthetics of film was gradually fading, leaving behind a legacy preserved through celluloid rather than public spectacle. Tiffin's final years were lived privately, a stark contrast to the luminous presence she once held on magazine covers and film posters. The immediate response to her death was a wave of appreciation from classic film enthusiasts and international cinema historians. While not a household name in the modern mainstream, she retained a devoted following across the United States and Italy, where many of her films achieved cult popularity. Tributes highlighted her rare blend of comedic timing and striking beauty, qualities showcased in works like 1, 2, 3 and The Pleasure Seekers. Her passing renewed interest in these films, prompting reassessments of her role in shaping the cultural space occupied by American actresses working abroad in the 1960s and 1970s. Her death did not radically shift history, but it did amplify her legend for those who admired her. In an age of fast-moving media, the rediscovery of her filmography brought new appreciation for the subtler, softer stardom of her generation. A reminder that cultural impact often lies not in loudness, but in resilience. She became, posthumously, a symbol of an era when international cinema fostered cross-cultural creativity and actresses carved out careers that transcended national boundaries. Ultimately, her departure reveals much about humanity's relationship with memory and artistic legacy. We immortalize figures like Tiffin not because they dominated their time, but because their work continues to resonate across decades. Through restored film prints, retrospectives, and digital archives, her performances remain alive, proof that art offers a form of quiet immortality. Her life and death underscore our enduring desire to hold on to beauty, creativity, and the fleeting brilliance of those who once lit up the screen. Gabriele Ferzetti passed in 2015 at the age of 90, closing the final chapter on one of Italy's most enduring cinematic careers. His death was attributed to natural causes, a quiet departure that contrasted sharply with the dramatic intensity he brought to the screen for more than 6 decades. In many ways, the nature of his passing reflected the longevity and steadiness of his professional life. An artist whose influence was cumulative rather than explosive, built on consistency, refinement, and a deep respect for character-driven storytelling. Ferzetti rose to international prominence during a transformative period in European cinema, when post-war Italy became a powerhouse of artistic experimentation. From his haunting role in L'Avventura to his suave portrayal of the villainous Marc-Ange Draco in a James Bond classic, he helped bridge Italian art house traditions with broader global audiences. His death prompted a wave of appreciation from film historians and directors who viewed him as a link to an era defined by bold ideas, expressive minimalism, and a willingness to challenge narrative conventions. The immediate consequence of his passing was a renewed interest in the films that shaped his legacy. Retrospectives emerged across European cultural institutions, and younger cinephiles rediscovered the subtlety of his performances, marked by a restrained emotional depth that set him apart from many of his contemporaries. Far from fading into obscurity, Ferzetti's reputation strengthened, amplified by the nostalgia for mid-century Italian cinema and the continuing academic fascination with the filmmakers he collaborated with. His departure underlined the way societies immortalize figures connected to art and culture. Unlike political leaders or public icons whose deaths often spark debate or re-evaluation, Ferzetti's passing invited reflection on the quiet power of storytelling itself. Through film festivals, archival restorations, and scholarly analysis, he is preserved not only for his individual contributions, but for his role in shaping an artistic movement that still influences cinema today. Ultimately, his death reminds us that cultural memory often grows strongest after its subjects are gone. We commemorate creators like Ferzetti not simply for their fame, but for the emotions their work continues to evoke. Echoes of humanity captured frame by frame. Gail Fisher passed in 2000 at the age of 65, her death attributed to kidney failure, a natural but sobering end that echoed the broader health disparities faced by many African American performers of her generation. Her passing reflected an era when Hollywood was only beginning to reckon with the toll that decades of overwork, limited roles, and systemic barriers had taken on trailblazing artists. Fisher had risen to prominence during a time when opportunities for Black actresses were rare, making her breakthrough as Peggy Fair on Mannix not only a personal triumph but a cultural milestone. The immediate aftermath of her death revealed just how deeply she had influenced television history. Tributes emphasized her status as one of the first Black women to win an Emmy and a Golden Globe, acknowledging that her visibility during the late 1960s and early 1970s helped transform expectations about who could be seen and celebrated on screen. While her career had quieted in later decades, the news of her passing reignited interest in her legacy, prompting a wider conversation about the pioneers who opened doors but did not always receive sustained recognition. Her death, though natural, underscored the fragility of the paths she helped forge. It served as a reminder of the intense pressure placed on early minority performers, who often navigated discrimination while simultaneously carrying the hopes of representation for an entire community. By shining a light on these systemic challenges, Fisher's passing encouraged renewed efforts to preserve and honor the contributions of Black entertainers whose innovations shaped modern television. In the years since, her influence has lived on through retrospectives, academic discussions on representation, and the continued acclaim of Mannix, where her performance remains a highlight. Fan communities, television historians, and diversity advocates frequently cite her as a foundational figure whose success widened the possibilities for future generations of actors. Her story illustrates humanity's enduring desire to remember those who break barriers, especially when their achievements resonate beyond their own lifetime. Through television reruns, awards acknowledgments, and written tributes, Gail Fisher is continually reintroduced to new audiences, demonstrating how art becomes a vessel for preserving both legacy and cultural progress. Her life and passing reveal a universal truth, that we honor not only how people lived, but how their presence reshaped the world they left behind. Robert Cummings passed away in 1990 at the age of 80, the result of complications from kidney failure. His death was natural, yet it carried symbolic weight for an entertainment era that had increasingly come to value versatility, charm, and adaptability, qualities Cummings embodied throughout his long career. As an actor who navigated film, television, and stage work with equal ease, his passing marked the quiet close of a chapter in Hollywood history, one shaped by performers who relied less on celebrity spectacle and more on craft and professionalism. The circumstances of his decline reflected the realities of aging in an industry that had transformed dramatically over the decades. Cummings had once been a familiar face in both light comedies and suspense films, even earning recognition for his work with Alfred Hitchcock. By the late 20th century, however, shifting tastes meant that many stars of Hollywood's golden age saw their fame recede as new genres, technologies, and audience expectations took hold. His natural passing thus highlighted the broader transition from studio-era storytelling to the rising dominance of modern filmmaking and television formats. The immediate consequences of his death were largely felt in circles that honored classic cinema. Tributes emphasized his characteristic warmth and his reputation as a diligent, technically gifted actor. Though not a figure whose death redirected history, it did prompt a renewed appreciation for performers who shaped the foundations of American film and early television. This reflective return to his work amplified his legacy, introducing his performances to younger audiences who might otherwise have overlooked mid-century entertainment. Cummings's death also serves as a reminder of how society interacts with memory and artistic legacy. We immortalize figures like him not through monumental events, but through the endurance of their work. Films preserved, episodes replayed, stories retold. His contributions persist in film history courses, retrospectives, and classic movie broadcasts, demonstrating how even quiet departures leave meaningful cultural echoes. Ultimately, the story of Robert Cummings illustrates humanity's ongoing effort to reconcile mortality with the desire for continuity. Through art and performance, individuals transcend their own lifespans, becoming part of a shared narrative that stretches across generations. His life and passing show how memory, bolstered by craft and character, can outlast the fleeting nature of fame.